So you're thinking of moving to Abbotsford, and in this video I'm going to be doing a map tour to show you everything that you need to know about living in Abbotsford. Things I'm going to cover in this video are commuting. I'll talk about walkability of certain neighborhoods. I'll go over public transport, access of public transport in different parts of Abbotsford. I'll talk a little bit about schools, public and private. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. I'm going to talk about the cost of living in certain areas of Abbotsford. I'm also going to talk about like parks and recreation. I'll start with my favorite part of Abbotsford, which is East Abbotsford, and we'll work towards West Abbotsford, and then we'll kind of go around the outskirts where more farms and acreages are, and we'll discuss those. So let's dive right in first to East Abbotsford. I guess before we dive into East Abbotsford, we should take a look at overall what does Abbotsford look like. So these are the boundaries of Abbotsford. We've got West Abbotsford here. I mean, I would also consider this part like West Abbotsford. It's the western part of like the city, at least. Central Abbotsford resides in this area, and we've got East Abbotsford here, and we've got some different acreages and farmland on the outside. Sumas Mountain is also a part of Abbotsford, so I don't know why it's not all highlighted here, but that's also part of Abbotsford too. We're going to start with the east side of Abbotsford. So this main section here is like the east side of Abbotsford, Abbotsford East, all the way from, I would say, this highway and over. Let's start up kind of further on the north side of Abbotsford. This is the lower Ten Oaks, upper Ten Oaks areas here. This is probably one of my favorite neighborhoods in Abbotsford, especially for families. If we look here, we've got two schools in this area. We've got Claiborne Middle School, and this here is Robert Bateman Secondary. So that's the middle school and high school in this area. There's a bunch of elementary schools. There's a Christian school. So this is a private school in the area. It is a religious school. So maybe you want your kids to go to a private school. The only issue in Abbotsford is they've all got some kind of like religious component to them. Let's head back to East Abbotsford here. So let's go up a bit further here. So on the outskirts of this East Abbotsford, we've got Claiborne. And this is like a quaint little village area. So if we dive into the street view, you can see these are like older heritage kind of looking homes. They're definitely smaller. I'm pretty sure these homes in this area have requirements of how they must look, because there's like certain heritage requirements here, but that's at least on the outskirts of this area. There's new developments actually happening right up in this area. So I don't even know if we'll be able to get a street view here. It might just show us a bunch of woods, but if you go up into here, which we can't do just yet, we've got a whole new community situated in that area. So this is one of the main areas I grew up in. I went to school at Claiborne and Robert Bateman, and then I lived in Matsqui. We'll go ahead and talk about that in a little bit. But it's a nice area, great for families. The only issue about this area, there really isn't any amenities. So it's just all houses, which is, I think, great for families, for younger families especially. There's another private school here. This is Abbey Christian Elementary. So the middle and high school of Abbey Christian is where I showed you guys a little bit earlier. We've got another elementary school here. This goes up quite a big hill. So this is a very hilly area. That hill goes up from here. And as you go up further, you're kind of there. This is slope. So you're going up a hill, and further, you're going up a hill here. If we look at some of the houses in these neighborhoods, especially higher up on the hill, they're going to be newer homes. They're definitely going to cost a little bit more. They're going to be larger. But we can see nice neighborhoods in this area. Beautiful homes. Again, really great for families. So that's more on the upper side of this hill. Sandy Hill area, whatever you want to call it. Prices are going to get higher as you go up because more and more of the homes are newer. If we look in the lower Ten Oaks area, around these areas here, let's dive into, let's say right here. We've got Bateman Park. So this is, you can take your dog for a walk here. There's a lot of soccer. There's a dog park right in here. Lots of farm area around. There's places to walk right around here. It looks all green, but that's usually pretty clean water at Wilban Creek Park. Let's head back down into this area. So in this lower Ten Oaks area, homes are definitely a little bit older. You'll be able to get more of a discount versus way up on the hills. Still nice homes. You're just looking at more older homes than anything else. So, and they're not even that old, but in comparison to some of the other homes up on top of the hill where I showed you on Sandy Hill, prices are definitely lower in these areas here. There is some nicer areas in Lower Ten Oaks. If we look here, you can actually find some new lots, newer homes being built in this area. And we can see really, they're a bit more fancy. There's lots of space here for more development. Slowly, there's always homes being built in this area, but some really nice homes here. I think this is a show home. Some nice homes here, and I'd expect more and more to be built, but a great area overall. I'd say lower Ten Oaks, great area for families. Let's dive a bit into this Upper Ten Oaks area. If we look at Upper Ten Oaks, so as we go higher up the hill, further away from more congestion, public transport also becomes more of an issue. I had somebody, and this is way up in Augustin, but they were complaining about the transport up in Augustin. That's what you're going to get. The further you move from like central Abbotsford, the worse the transit gets. Upper Ten Oaks, you can find some really nice homes here depending on where you're looking. You can find some nice little communities. We've got a golf course here, Ledgeview Golf Course, probably the nicest golf course in Abbotsford. They've got a bunch of different things going on here. I think it's a great place. And homes around this area we can see quite nice. Even going up to here, we've got a lot of different communities. You can see more and more pools in this area. Some bigger homes in this area as well. Let's take a look at some of these homes. So we can see, this is kind of these homes, I would say. Some of the homes I showed you earlier on the top of Sandy Hill, these might not be as new. Still quite new homes, but not that old either, but nice homes. Again, you're just getting further and further away from more and more amenities. Yes, you have the golf club. If you want to get to the highway here, we can see the highway is a little bit further away from this part of East Abbotsford. You can easily get onto the highway here, Highway 11, and then connect. But you are a bit further away, definitely from amenities. The closest thing you've got to here in this part of East Abbotsford is this shopping center here. You've got 7-Eleven. They're just putting a McDonald's in here. So this is actually a nice little market. There's some little restaurants, cafes. We've got townhomes in this area as well. More townhomes here. Lots of homes in this area. And there are some newer homes also being built in this Lower Ten Oaks, Upper Ten Oaks areas. If we go up here, we will find, so this is Upper Ten Oaks. We would find some really nice homes kind of up in here and really nice views. I don't know if we'll be able to see, so you can't fully see the view, but you get some really nice views from some of these homes here. They look very similar to the ones I just showed you guys in some of the other neighborhoods, and expect that in the Upper Ten Oaks areas. And if you look through, you can see that there is a ton of different parks, lots of greenery, especially in the Upper Ten Oaks area, lots of mountain biking trails and hikes and things of that sort. Also in the East Abbotsford area, you've got Augustin, a quaint little community here, lots of little homes. The size of the lots here, the property is definitely smaller in comparison to the rest of Abbotsford. They're like some of the lots are 4,000 square feet. Most of the lots are 4,000 square feet. So very densified, but here a lot of them you can even find coach houses. because there is laneways. Most places in Abbotsford don't have laneways, but you're giving up having a big property. A lot of these people have smaller properties. My only issue with Augustin, again, public transportation, not always the most reliable. It just takes a while. You're away from things. So if you want your kids to walk to school, this is not going to happen. They definitely got to take a bus. The school buses come up here to grab kids from. Let's take a look at some of the houses here in Augustin. And again, just very average houses. The house prices in Augustin are usually lower than a lot of other areas, but that's because the houses are smaller. So the houses are definitely going to cost less than some of the other areas I've showed you, like Upper Ten Oaks, but you're giving up lot sizes. I mean, some of these houses don't look, can I go onto that street? Don't look like they're that bad of a size. But overall, they are definitely smaller. You can see not a lot of space in between your neighbors. So you're giving up that space if you decide to live in Augustin, but it's nice and quiet, not a lot going on up here. And we built some houses up in this area, so we've got some new little neighborhoods here. Again, some pretty good pricing. I don't know if the houses Google has even updated, so it looked like this. It doesn't look like this anymore. We've got all these brand new houses, a lot of houses for sale here. Lots of development has happened here. I would expect more and more development to kind of happen in this area, and pretty good prices. But again, your small homes. These are all completely brand new though. And while we're up in this Abbotsford area here, you can even get homes on like Sumas Mountain. This is right in the mountain. Like if we look in closer, I have some friends who had lived in these areas, like log cabins, but you're in the woods. You're going to be seeing a lot of wildlife, coming up against a lot of wildlife. If it snows, you might have a tougher time up in these areas. But that's to be expected if you're kind of out of the way. So you can see it's a little bit out of the way, connects down to Matsqui. I'll cover Matsqui and some of the outer parts of Abbotsford a little bit later. So we've covered the upper portion of East Abbotsford, which is kind of like this lower Ten Oaks area. We've covered the upper Ten Oaks area. Now we'll head over here. This is kind of like the McMillan area. So we click here. We've got McMillan. McMillan runs all the way up until here. So I'm going to consider all of this, and maps isn't always right, all of this area to be the McMillan area. And we can see very dense, also very family friendly. The benefit this area has versus up over here is you actually have more amenities close by. So let's see. Also, this whole area is going to be houses too, and they're like building. You don't see it here, but this is all going to be houses, new development. This is going to get crazy busy. This road is already crazy busy. So that's the one thing I don't like about this area, is it does get crazy busy at times. But if we look at some of these are all newer houses. I don't know if not all of these. And these are still the older homes, but average looking homes for Abbotsford. Your typical BC boxes. So these are going to be a little bit older. And if we go a bit further into some of these new streets like McMillan Place, here's where we'll see newer homes. Again, very densified like Augustin, so you don't have a lot of space, very narrow homes. Very narrow, small homes, very small lots, but it's a nice community, nice area for families. I would say the safest parts of Abbotsford are Abbotsford East and McMillan. You've got William Fraser Middle School here. There's a bunch of elementary schools around, and you've got Yale Secondary. So everybody in this McMillan area, you're likely going to be going to school here. And the benefits, again, you're closer to amenities. We've got gyms, we've got sports lounges, we've got a bunch of different food places here. This rec center, there's skateboarding court, basketball courts, fields here. So lots of more amenities available in the McMillan area as compared to the lower Ten Oaks area. I see a lot of retired people living in this lower Ten Oaks area. It's a bit quieter than McMillan. So it's a benefit in that sense. If you're younger, I don't know if this is really the best area for you. It's still good, but really for families, this Lower 10 Oaks, Upper 10 Oaks area is amazing. Same with the McMillan area. If you're more of a younger adult, this can also be good because you're closer to things. You're closer to the highway. The highway is right here. But also good for families. Most people who live in these areas are families. Homes here, for the most part, are definitely a little bit older, as we can see. And let's try to go down this street here. Okay, so not like old homes, but older than like I showed you guys on Upper 10 Oaks. Still nice homes, typical BC boxes. Good size lots. You'll get good yards here, depending on what part of the McMillan area you're in. The next area I'm going to cover, so that's kind of like the McMillan area. You can get down here, which is, I could still consider it the McMillan area. You could consider it like I like to call this the Del Air area, connecting to the highway. You've got Cactus Club, McDonald's, some nice homes here. Look at this, lots of different pools in people's backyards. So, when there's pools, people definitely have a bit more money. The houses in this area down lower here are definitely newer. So these are a bit newer, bigger homes, bigger property sizes. This is a big hill, so lots of hills. So let's just show you, it's basically a hill going up into these areas. Anywhere up here, there's hills. So this is kind of like the lower bounds of the mountain. And the further you go up to here, the further you go up onto Eagle Mountain, the higher you get. So with McMillan, right, newer kind of areas here. Here, really small lots, decent size. Like these are comparable to, I would say, some parts around McKee here, some parts of Upper 10 Oaks, a bit older once again. But again, still great family areas to live in. If we go a bit further to the right side here, so the further we go to the right side, basically the homes are going to get newer and more expensive, and the most expensive homes in Abbotsford are here in Eagle Mountain. And let's call this the Lower Sumas Mountain area. So this is definitely all newer, more new homes, not all new. The further you get up here, like these are all newer developments here. The good thing about this area, if you live close to Whatcom, you do have the Whatcom exit, connects to the highway. We have Castle Fun Park here, lots of different stores in this area. Got churches, parks, schools, lots of construction, lots of new homes. Let's take a look at some of the homes in this area. Why can't I click in? You can see up on a hill. So these homes are decent. Well, you're going to get good sized lots here for sure. Expect good sized lots, decent sized homes. Are they new homes? No. They're on the older side, you could call them. Still great area for families to live in, where you're close to the highway, closer to amenities. I would say it's similar to here, where you still got to walk quite a distance to get to some things. And especially if you get up onto Eagle Mountain here. So let's go take a look. I mean, some of these are all brand new homes, but we can see the homes are definitely a bit more modern, more new. The lot sizes are, decent, but you're coming into like custom, brand new, expensive homes. A bit more, the most prestigious neighborhood in Abbotsford, like modern style homes here. And I don't know if we'll be able to get a view, but you can see in some areas you are going to get a really nice view of Mount Baker. Let's see if we can get in here to get you guys. I mean, we've also got a really nice school here. We've got a park. So there's an elementary school. I don't know if we'll be able to see it from here, but nice elementary school, lots of different amenities and things to do here. I don't think I'll be able to get a view of the view for you guys from Mahogany. Let's see. Just newer homes, maybe right here. So this is why and I don't think we're going to be able to get up into here. People pay for the exclusivity or prestige of Eagle Mountain. You get views of Mount Baker, views of the valley, depending on what spot you're in. We can see here, I just clicked in a spot where before there was even all of these homes here. So this is a newer area. When I was younger, we used to go up here to party. This was like the place to be, place to go at nighttime when we were in high school, go up there and party, because there really wasn't anything built up here. So lots more development to come in this area, more prestigious of a neighborhood that kind of covers East Abbotsford for us. I mean, right on the outskirts of East Abbotsford, we got another golf center, Fraser Glen. It's okay. I'm not a huge golfer, so I can't talk about all the golf things. Okay, next, let's get further into central Abbotsford. So if we get into this part, I would consider some of this still part of like Lower 10 Oaks. Let's see, what would Google Maps consider Lower 10 Oaks? I think this would still be parts of it considered Lower 10 Oaks, parts of it maybe considered McMillan. Houses in this area down here, definitely a little bit older, similar to all these homes kind of up here, good property sizes. You're going to be closer to grills, restaurants, downtown Abbotsford. So downtown Abbotsford is running right through here. Let's go take a look. Let's go right here. Right here. So we can see lots of traffic. I don't know why it took me to this spot. This is downtown Abbotsford. And we can just quickly go down. This is what downtown Abbotsford looks like. This is the main strip. Lots of little shops, things going on, things to do here. Okay, let's get focused again. Where should we talk about next? Let's continue with just this central Abbotsford area. The one area I would watch out for. So we've got some restaurants here, Fieldhouse, Riverside. Along these train tracks, lots of homeless people kind of around in these areas, these shops. I mean, there's this thrift shop, Salvation Army, a lot of homeless people hanging out in these wooded areas, around these areas. That's the one thing you need to be aware of if you want to live down here. Personally, I wouldn't, because there's a ton of homeless people residing kind of in these areas here. And even when you get down to like this Walmart area, lots of homeless people living around here, around the highway. Not the greatest places to live, but there really isn't any homes closer to here. But yeah, over here, I don't know about these areas. Houses here are a little bit older. And there's a lot of homeless people around, so I just wouldn't feel as safe closer to here, closer to this like downtown core area. Let's go further over here. So we've got our McCallum exit and UFV. Went to school here, great university. We've got Abbotsford Center, Abbotsford Canucks play here. Got a brewery, lots of little shops, lots of little apartments here. These houses are quite nice. Let's take a look. So on the newer side of homes, decent sized properties, but really nice homes around UFE and the university area. So if you're a university student, getting homes around this area would be great, because you're just a walk away from UFE. And if we just look a bit further lower, this is considered like King Road, the King area, UFV area. You know, all the homes on this side are definitely going to be a little bit older. More and more homes are getting torn down and rebuilt. So we can see, I mean, somebody already tore this home down, but these homes are on the older end of things and smaller in comparison. We can see this home's getting blocked off. Probably again, something getting built here, new home just getting built here. But I would say this area here, great for students. Can be okay for families as well, year-round stuff. Just the closest school, and I mean there's elementary, but middle and high school you have to go to Abbey, which is I believe right here, and we'll get into that in a second. So good for students. I would avoid this area. I don't like this. Or down here. Here, So right off McCallum, we've got Bass Pro Shops, lots of different shops, lots of different apartments in these areas here, right off McCallum. That's what they're trying to do, densify, build more apartments and things of that sort. It eventually connects to downtown, and they call this Five Corners. But again, the further you get downtown, the more and more homelessness there's going to be. They're building like a rail district here, building a bunch of different homes, and there's a ton of homeless people there. So I don't know why people would want to move there. Maybe they're trying to clean it up. We'll see what they do. But lots of shops in this area. I have friends who live off some of these side streets. They're great places to live. They've got some big lots, big houses, brand new houses. So they've torn down, as we can see. First house we see just ginormous because of the lot sizes. And a lot of these homes have been torn down. My friend built a house right here. And we can see another big house here. So these lots are huge. They're deep. I don't know if we can take a look at this lot here. So we can see they're maybe not the widest, but they go really deep. So there is a lot of coverage. And my friend's able to build like a huge shed to work out in the back. He's got a huge home. Great areas to live if you want to build, big homes. There is older homes throughout here though. So there's a lot of income disparity. You're going to have ginormous homes besides some older, crappy homes. Overall, I wouldn't mind living in this area. But just again, the further you get downtown, I just avoid it. I don't like it. Also a great place to live for students because you're walking distance to UFE and there's a bridge. So this bridge on Straighton, you can walk down to UFE. These are all like mobile homes, and they're trying to change them, and anybody can own these. But these should be developed in the near future. We've got a park in this area. I would say pricing wise, this whole central Abbotsford area is very similar. West Abbotsford, very similar. East Abbotsford, Eagle Mountain, you definitely pay more. And here you're going to pay more for houses that have larger lots. You're just going to pay more for land, but you can build ginormous multi-generational homes in these areas. And let's get further into central Abbotsford here. So we've got around the hospital area here in central. Let's just zoom out so you guys can see we're kind of in central Abbotsford. We've got the hospital area. The city's plan is from the hospital to Mill Lake, this is going to be densified. So they really want apartment buildings, townhomes, all that kind of stuff in these areas. There's some big homes in these areas that I've seen built as well, but expect more and more densification in these areas here. We're back to McCallum here. So we've got Abbey Secondary, Abbey Middle right here. Another elementary school here. And there is amenities close by to these schools. So shops, a gym. Only thing, a lot of homeless people hanging out here around these areas. Personally wouldn't want to live there because of how many homeless people there are. And not only are they homeless, but they'll just be doing drugs on the side of the street. Behind these areas here, behind these shops, you see people just like flopped over. So I would just avoid those areas. And if you're going to want to live in central Abbotsford, again, near Mill Lake, around these areas, you're not going to see or find as many homeless people, or by the hospital. Good areas to be around. Homes in these areas, definitely a little bit older. Let's go to Pandora here. Older homes, smaller homes, decent sized lots, not ginormous. But this is what you can kind of, BC boxes, that's what you can expect in central Abbotsford for the most part, around the hospital and around Abbey Senior. Again, there is also a lot of people tearing down houses, building ginormous houses, humongous houses. It's happening more and more because there's less land. Okay, we were at Mill Lake here. Big mall here, got a church, lots of different food places in the downtown area, lots of different townhomes. So a lot of these townhomes we can see run along George Ferguson Way. These are all like townhomes, condos, apartment complexes, all that kind of good sort. So if you're looking to be like central, I think this is a good place for like younger people to live because you're close to a lot of different things to do. Maybe not the greatest for families because it is a bit chaotic in these areas, lots going on. I would prefer for my family something a bit more quiet. But I think for like younger adults and maybe even retirees, this could be a good area to be in. And if we go further up again, where are we here? Gladwin. Lots of different townhomes. We've got, let's go more up here. So this was, again, Eastern Abbotsford. We had Mill Lake up here. Further up we go. It's still very central Abbotsford. We've got a bunch of like commercial area here. Babbage, I would say this area right here, not a bad area. Looks like they're actually developing some more here. I'm probably going to develop more and more. I've heard some bad things about some of the neighbors here. These are just older homes. I have some friends who live here. Homes are definitely on the older end. As we can see, are they terrible homes? No. Just on the older end of things, maybe not the greatest or nicest homes around this Terry Fox. So this is Terry Fox Elementary, not the nicest homes, but more homes are being taken down and rebuilt. And especially if we go further, so as they're developing more homes, they're newer than the other ones I just showed you, a bit of a nicer area if you want to live here. Okay, so we've covered east, covered Mill Lake Hospital area. We've kind of covered up in this area. Let's cover right here. Okay, still central Abbotsford, running down Gladwin. We're getting towards North Clearbrook. But if we go down Gladwin, this heads all into the farm area. Lots of little homes here. Again, on the older side, there's Chief Dan Middle, which is nearby. There's another elementary school here, right there. And let's go look at the homes here. Homes here, I would say they're pretty good. I have some friends living in this area as well. Just your typical BC box homes. Like I could show you home after home. A lot of homes in Abbotsford are going to look similar to this. These are good sized lots. Might be able to find some discounts on some older homes here. You're near the stadium. Lots of different townhomes. We've got Mowat Secondary here. So that kind of covers the main part of central Abbotsford for us. Most of the houses is very similar. I've told you what places to avoid, where some good places to be. If you want to be in central Abbotsford and you want to be more family focused, I would say this is the area to be. Up in these areas, getting closer to North Clearbrook, being closer to Mowat Secondary. And let's go take a look at some of these houses. Again, older, but you've got more and more homes, and I don't know if I'll be able to find any here that they're tearing down, and we can see one right here. Big homes being built when we've got some older homes around in these areas. So some people decide instead of moving, they just want to tear down and build, and that's happening more and more in these areas here. You get a nice plot of land that you can build on. Okay, so we've got South Clearbrook. Let's cover South Clearbrook next. So right beside the Mill Lake area. I really love Mill Lake. I think it's one of the best places in Abbotsford, one of the best parks to be in, to go around in. South Clearbrook, they're also wanting to densify this area more and more. Definitely older homes, more homelessness towards like Peardenville, lots of cheaper apartments in this Peardenville area. If you're younger, and even if you have a family, I think this is a decent area to live in. But if you're younger and you're commuting, I think this is a great place to be, or anybody who's commuting. I think this is a great place to be because you're really close to the highway. I mean, you're close to the hospital if you ever need it. We've got different arenas and all that kind of good stuff around in this area. Amenity-wise, I mean, nothing right in the middle, but on the outskirts of this area and on South Fraser, there is a ton of different shops. Overall, decent area. Again, similar to the other areas, pricing-wise. You can get some good-sized lots, older homes in this area. Definitely older than some of the other neighborhoods we've taken a look at. As you can see, just typical BC boxes once again. Nothing special. But good-sized lots, not a bad place to live. In my opinion, I've had family members live in that area, and they like it. We've got... I don't know what it is, West Clearbrook. This is the area I currently live in. So I live in this area here. I'll show my house. I don't know if that's a good thing. I live in this area here. If we can see there, let's not look at my house. Let's go take a look around here. Similar to South Clearbrook, older homes. A lot of houses here have been torn down in comparison to South Clearbrook. So I guess they were a bit older, and we've had a lot of newer homes built throughout here since I've moved here. So when I moved here, there was the occasional new home, and since then tons of massive new houses, and even more. Like there's a new home here, there's new homes up here, used to live here, don't live there anymore, but new homes here. And all my neighbors, right? They built brand new big homes, lots of big new homes coming up on here. Good lot sizes, good area for families. There's a church here. Only issue, there can be homeless people walking up and around Clearbrook. Haven't had any issues at our places for any theft or any other major issues like that. So Clearbrook Road, they're going to densify. There's going to be more and more densification. As time goes by, they're going to build more and more apartments, similar to what I showed you guys on McCallum. So it's going to get busier, but I do like this West Clearbrook area. If you cross the highway, there's also this part of West Clearbrook, and we've got a similar situation, older homes where they're being torn down, a lot of mobile homes here, trailer park type of style. I personally don't like this area that much. I'd prefer to live in West Clearbrook, this part of West Clearbrook, but that's my personal opinion. When we go further on West Clearbrook, I would say, it's all very similar, like older style homes that are all being torn down because there's good sized lots here. People are building multi-generational homes, and they're tearing down the houses because the lots are big, 10,000 up to 10,000 or more square feet, and they're building their dream homes for their family to live in for years and years to come. So I like this area. I've lived here for the past, what year is it? 2025 now. I've lived here for the past 15 years. I think it's a great area to be in, and I recommend it for anybody, especially if you're commuting. Family member, that's the one benefit I do like. If here I can get onto the highway pretty quick, and I'm also close to things. Like if I want to go and grab some food, I'm really close. Okay, so that covers West Clearbrook. Let's go over to, where's North Clearbrook? We've got the North Clearbrook area. So North Clearbrook area, definitely a bit more dense, older, newer than West Clearbrook, so less homes being torn down, but I think in the near future we will see that more and more. Decent sized, very good sized lots, I would say. Houses aren't old by any standards. They look a bit better than some of the other neighborhoods. A couple of friends who live in this area and they love it. You won't really see many homeless people coming up into this area. I think it's a really good area and place to live. So North Clearbrook also checks off my boxes for families, retirees. It would be a great place to live. So families and retirees, this is kind of a great place for you. Also, West Clearbrook would be a great place for you too. Let's head over to now the town line area. So if we click Townline Hill, we can see we've got this Blue Ridge area. School in this area is Rick Hansen Secondary. As the high school, we've got Eugene Reimer. Thing about this area, I don't know the exact stat, but I wouldn't be surprised if this area is 90% or more not Caucasian. So what do I mean by not Caucasian? Mainly Punjabi people are going to be living in this area. Lots of multi-generational homes, big homes being built in these areas. Homes on the newer end, not new, but newer than some of the areas I've showed you. Bigger homes. They're not going to be like fancy homes. A lot of homes in this area are all like stucco. You've got some nice parks in this area. Again, amenities not right in this area. Actually, that's a lie. There's a Summit Center. This is all kind of newer. So we've got some newer townhomes, apartments in this area here. We've got an ice rink, and we do have now shops and things like that in this area. And I wouldn't be surprised if this area keeps developing. But yeah, if you're going to live in this area and you don't want to be somewhere where it's very multicultural or diverse, not the place for you to be. Good for families. I would say that's the only thing really this area would be good for families, or if you really want to be close to Mount Lehman and being close to the highway. So finding a spot near the highway, one of the last exits of Abbotsford, so you can get on the highway and get going if you need to commute. Also in this area, we have High Street, the shopping center, lots of different shops, Auto Mall, all right here on the west side of Abbotsford. There's a Gurdwara if you're Punjabi. There is also a church here, but I would say majority of the people living in this area, Punjabi or of some type of Asian, South Asian descent. How do I know? I taught at Rick Hansen Secondary, so the high school here, and most of the students in my class were Punjabi. Okay, so that covers the main core of Abbotsford. Transit-wise, if you're more relying on transit, East Abbotsford probably isn't for you. If you're going to rely on transit, you want to be Central Abbotsford. The main lines basically run from Central Abbotsford, or from UFV, to like around Mill Lake, and around Montrose. There's another around here, McCallum area, another bus exchange, and around like the hospital. So this is kind of the major transit areas. If you want more frequent transit, the Central Abbotsford, West Clearbrook, South Clearbrook areas, North Clearbrook is the area you want to be in. And the transit's continuously getting better, and I've seen the city's plans. They're planning on doing more or getting better transit up to High Street. So like High Street to UFV is where like the main transit lines are going to kind of run, and the hospital as well. So that's the kind of route from here to here. If you're looking to move somewhere where there's good transit, in between these areas is the best place for you to be. We've also, I talked about Augustin as a smaller community. If we zoom out, we've got West Abbotsford here. Majority of West Abbotsford is farmland. And so, these can all vary in pricing depending on what kind of farmland it is. Let's see if we can... Nope. Is it going to let me go street view? So we can see houses here are actually nice, but lots of land. And we can see big, nice homes. A lot of people build customs homes on this farmland, but they've got property. Lots and lots of property. On West Abbotsford as well, we do have some other little communities. So we've got this area here where we've got some decent homes. Oops. These homes are on this, some of them are on the smaller side. These look like big homes I'm about to show you guys. Just bigger properties. Again, they go deeper. Maybe not the widest lots, but nice little quiet community. You're just away from things. So West Abbotsford, they're going to be going to school all the way at Rick Hansen. That's where the catchment is going to be, all the way over here. So yes, there's going to be busing and stuff available, but you got to go all the way from here all the way to here for school. So maybe not the best area for families, but if you don't mind your kids taking the bus or driving them that distance occasionally, then not a bad place to live. We've also got that is the right area. So this is the Peppenbrook area here, and this is newer homes, really nice properties. Again, smaller, so it kind of gives me that Augustin feel, but with newer homes, property sizes being a little bit bigger and lots being a little bit bigger as well. And just like Augustin, you're kind of out of the way. So Augustin was the area I showed you guys up here. In East Abbotsford, where you're kind of out of the way, but you've got some, nice houses here. They're not going to be as cheap as Augustin because, again, not as dense. If we look at the density here and compare it to, where'd Augustin go? What the heck's going on? There we go. The density here, we can see it's completely on the other spectrum of things. And also on West Abbotsford. So Abbotsford runs till about like let's say Station Road, right up until here. We've got this other little community. Nice houses here. Most of them, on the not old, but not new either. There are little pockets. So my cousins lived here on Ladune, and these were all, there are some older homes that we can see. New homes have been built here. Some big, can't go down there, but big size lots. There's going to be more and more development here. Some bigger houses here. And these are some of the older, I can call them older homes in the area, but again, still not that old. You can get some pretty good pricing for homes in this area. The only thing is, again, you're outside of the city a little bit. And the traffic on Fraser Highway can just be absolutely crazy. So if you don't mind that, you can get a pretty nice property out in West Abbotsford here. Again, a lot of West Abbotsford, though, is farmland. And if we go further up, this Bradner area, majority, I don't know if there's any other really little communities in this area, all farmland as well. Again, everybody from this area is going to be going to school at Rick Hansen. So if you're living in the outskirts, that can be a little bit tough. There is going to be busing available. But you've got, some people have smaller parcels of land. Some people have bigger parcels of land. I'm not going to go too deep into there, but you can find some properties here for, on the low end, probably a couple million to like high. I've seen some properties in here over 10 million because how big they are. They've got like mega mansions built, some wineries, which would probably cost a lot. And I've covered most of the areas. 2 areas really left. We've got Matsqui. So I lived here when I was younger. Let's see if is it going to highlight this area for us? No, it's not. Anyway, this is all the Matsqui region. I didn't like it when I was younger because I wasn't close to anybody. So if you want your friends, your kids to be around friends and things like that, don't really expect that. There is a little community in Matsqui though, so definitely older homes. Some of them have been rebuilt. But you do have a little Matsqui community here with Matsqui Elementary. That's where I went. They've rebuilt the school, so it's brand new. I think it's a nice little community to live in, but you're far away from things. Buses do come all throughout Matsqui, and you go to Bateman Secondary and Claiborne, which, again, I went there. Two of my favorite schools. But Matsqui overall quite large, and some large pieces of land, large pieces of farmland here. Same with Sumas Prairie. So all of Sumas here, large pieces of land once again. You've got some smaller communities here, like if we go to Arnold on the outskirts of Sumas. You've got some smaller pieces of property where you might be able to get a good deal. I personally would avoid Sumas Prairie living here. If you're renting, you might be able to get a good deal, but we recently had floods a couple years ago and flooding from the States. So I don't even know where it is, but this river floods from the States, and this was all flooded. Like, you couldn't even access the highway. You couldn't go through this. This was all flooding, and there was some major flooding in this area. So I wouldn't be surprised if it ever happened again, because they haven't fixed the infrastructure. So personally, I would avoid this area unless you're a farmer, mainly dairy farmers here. And if we look at Sumas, and this is the border, Huntington, U.S. border. We do have a little community here. You can find some pretty good deals here. Again, my only worry here would be just in case there is some major flooding. Last time we had some flooding, these people got a little bit lucky. But if it were to happen again at a larger scale, it might be in a little bit trouble there. But nice little community here by the border. You're just a bit out of the way of the larger city. Personally, again, I wouldn't take the risk of buying a home there. I don't think you can even get flood insurance. Same with Sumas Prairie, you can't get flood insurance. So that's a guide to Abbotsford. Hopefully that covers and answers all the questions that you may have had, and if it didn't, hit me up, leave a comment below. I'll try to answer the questions for you. That might have been a little bit jumbled and clustered. Actually, one area I forgot, South Popular area. This is under the UFV area. This is where the airport is. There is some smaller lots. This is really commercial. It is mainly commercial. But if we go further down, we can see there is some smaller property lots, and not small in comparison to other parts of the city. But you can find some smaller lots, again, mainly blueberry, and I think mainly blueberry farmers in this area, some vegetables. I'm not going to speak too much of it. I don't know a ton of the South Popular area. Driven through here plenty of times, but I don't have a super in-depth knowledge of this area in comparison to some of the other areas. It's not like a area people usually move to. If people are living here, they've been living here for years. It's been passed down by families. So that covers now all of Abbotsford for you. I've covered this map. If you ever have any questions, please reach out to me. I will leave a link to my website. If you're looking into buying a place, renting a place, hit me up. I will be happy to answer your questions.